again, guys. Back in the workshop. Another cold one today, looking about 6 degrees C. Been pottering around, waiting for this engine mount frame. Not a lot I can do on that front until then. Still haven't received the bill for the invoice for the two engines down here, or one of the two engines down here. So waiting on that. So I'm pottering around with the side panels. You can probably see behind me. So I'll spin this around, show you what I've been doing, and guess what? I've been doing some more drawings for your delectation and delight. I'll spin it around. I'm just looking at the panel, sat in the aeroplane at the minute. That's sort of my eye line. There's a rough idea of what my eye line is on the instrument, so I can see the altimeter-ish, compass-ish, RPM good, turn and slip pretty good. Oil and temperature and pressure I really can't see. Switches could be there, so I might have to rethink that. And certainly the airspeed indicator, obviously moving my head I can see it, but that oil temp and pressure, I might have to rethink that. They're out the way a bit there. You know, I mean, it's a bit of a scan, I guess, really. So that's a first incarnation. I guess I need to, I mean, this is a looking over the side aeroplane, this really, isn't it? Watch where you're going, flight by the seat of your pants. But you do need some information. And yeah, ASI is not bad there. I can see it okay, just a swing of the head. Maybe the switches need to go up. I'll put 3 switches on there and a push start switch as well. Push start button possibility, but I could always move the push start up between the compass and stuff. Just a thought, so I'm showing you my thought process. Okay, so just having a little play around. Oil pressure and temperature are much more visible there. So that's my sort of my vision line there. Turn and slip, just moved it inwards a tiny bit. RPM, compass up there. Airspeed indicator, I've moved that in and put the altimeter to the other side because I guess airspeed is everything, especially in a draggy aeroplane. So that needs to be pretty high profile. And then the altimeter, well, when I bust the airspace, then you know. CAA will tell me, won't they? And what I was thinking was I could put the switches in that gap there. Switches, get 1, 2, 3 switches there, and the starter somewhere stay about there. So that would be okay. Mags, fuel pump on, starter, other hand, hold the stick, right hand, hold the stick, yeah, throttle, push the starter, throttle, right hand start, left hand throttle. So that's possibly a more workable solution. I'm going to sit here and look and think a bit and keep working. So there's sort of a paper template of the plan. Compass is in the wrong place. The compass has been a pain in the ass all the way along. Who needs a compass? That just needs to be up a little bit really. I've moved the RPM gauge off centre slightly. Compass, if I move it just another centimetre up, that'll give me enough clearance just here. It's just here that's the problem. Clearance with the back of the RPM gauge. The rest of them are pretty good. It's a bit hard to tell because they're not exactly level, but they do fit in pretty well. I can make some adjustments, but if I mark those positions on my wooden former that I've made up there, again at the moment this is just the wooden bits. Cardboard I can throw away and do again. Wooden one I can make another one. It's not such a big deal. I'd rather get it right first time, but yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll mark these out again, maybe some slight adjustments, maybe adjust the oil temperature just a touch to what is my left, or whichever way it is you're looking at it, and then maybe pull this one down level with it. It'll give me a little bit more space here. RPM gauge is pretty good, compass needs to be up and right. These two, airspeed and altimeter, again pretty good. Room for 4 switches in there and a starter button there. That's the thought. So we'll transfer this template onto the wood and see how that goes. All fun, all fun. So as you can see, I've been toying with some ideas for an oil tank. A couple of ideas there, and then that one is, I've mocked up that one there. So these are just little ideas. As you can see, I'll tell you, those are not egg cups. Honestly, they're not egg cups, but I'll show you what they are in a sec. So what I'm doing at the minute is trying to sort out these side panels. It's all very aesthetic really at the minute. I've mocked up it had these cheap cowls, which I've got the alloy there on the bench, but I've been mocking up a cardboard version of it. That looks quite nice, just trying to work out the shape that would work. It also has a pipe that comes out the side there on both sides of the Nieuport 11. It's actually, for the originals, it was an intake pipe for the carbs, because obviously it was a rotary engine on it. The carburettor was at the back of the engine, very similar to the one I've got on my radial, to be honest. But they had these intake pipes on each side of the cowl in there, and then they had pipes to the carburettor. So that's the bit that I'm playing at with, and that's what the 2 egg cups were on the bench. So I'll show you those a sec. So those are my pipes, and they will go on there through the wooden frame, and hopefully you won't see the base, but that's just a mounting plate I've put them on. The other bit, I've got to cut out an inspection hatch there, which I'll put an alloy hatch on it, I guess. Possibly make one out of the plywood, I'm not sure. So that's what I've been playing at. The other thing I've been playing at with is this oil tank. I thought, so I've mocked up the oil tank. I thought if I can make it sort of cylinder shaped, it will look like an extra cylinder. But obviously, until I know what the engine mount's going to look like, I can't really play with this anymore, so there might not be room for that. But I thought that was sort of a thing. It's got to be 5 litres, 5 litres volume, 4 litres of oil, 1 litre of air. So that's the work today. I'll continue with that. So there's the first incarnation of the panel. It's just cutting ply at the minute, but they all fit. There's room to plumb in at the back. So that looks like it might work. A little bit more cluttered than I would have liked, and obviously they're just rested in place. But yeah, that might work. That might work. Not too bad at all. That compass has always been the problem, but I think I could live with that. And the other thing I realised was when I made this panel and did the P-clips, I put them in a position where I thought it would be the strongest connections, but they are a bitch to get at. They really are extremely awkward to get at to screw it in place. So that one down there in particular is really bad. So I'm definitely, that is going to be a very practical hatch there. I need it to get into stuff, so I will cut that out and do it. The pipe will be just for show. We won't need it for the I don't think we'll need it for the carb anyway. Should be enough coming through the front. And the other thing I've done is I got the panel veneer sorted. I dyed that in what I thought was a nice vintage oak colour. I thought it looked quite nice being dark oak. I know there's a few different colours of wood around, but I quite like that dark. I thought it looked nice and vintage and stuff. So I've done that. I haven't fully decided whether I'm going to settle with that pattern yet, but looks quite nice like that. I think it'll work. And that's it. I'm going to continue with these side panels, and I'll keep you informed with more on. I had a really enjoyable day today, just pottering around doing fun things today. So I've cut the inspection hatch out of the side, out of the port side of the aircraft. I've made a panel to go inside it so I can screw into. So that's that done. I'll glue it on the other side. Unfortunately, I was stupid enough to use marker on the outside of it there. I mean, it will be covered by a panel, but I'll see if I can sand that off and get it revarnished. And I've got the intake pipe on there. Obviously, as you can see, it's not actually a pipe, it's blocked off. But I thought I don't want to leave a hole in there because my knees will get cold. Like they won't get cold in an open cockpit anyway. But that's that done. That's worked. So I've just put a plate on the back and a plate on the front over it, and that's worked really nicely. It looks nice. The trouble is, it looks so nice. I don't know whether to cover it and paint it or whether to leave it as a wooden finish. And I'll show you what I mean as I come past. There's the panel playing with, and my papier-mâché Blue Peter style oil tank. For those of you who are not from England, Blue Peter was a kids program where they used to make toys and God knows what out of cardboard and toilet rolls and all the rest of it, and sticky back plastic and sugar coated chocolate sweets because they were the BBC and they couldn't use brand names. So that's a side of my youth, doing Blue Peter's, Christmas candelabra or whatever they did. And the other bit is this side. Now this is on. That's fully on. Bit of a pain in the arse to do, but I think that looks really cool. Unfortunately, I'm down the wrong side of the aeroplane, but this one doesn't have a hatch on it, and I've managed to get the panel on. I'm just contemplating whether it needs another P-clip in here, possibly. But I think that looks really cool. You're really not getting the benefit of it, but it looks nice, and I like the wood finish actually. So again, I will have to think whether I'm going to cover it. It's going to have to join to the covering somewhere. So, but that looks nice. Yeah. When it's got the sort of elephant ear things on it, the cowl cheeks, then it will look really cool. Liking it. I've enjoyed today. It's been a good day. And so I've had a few toys arrive from Amazon, another well-known aviation supplier. So I've got some switches to go in there. I've put 4 switches in, 2 mags obviously with the covers, and a couple of spares, one I guess probably fuel pump and mass, I don't know, we'll see. It's always good to have holes already filled without making more. And I got an engine start switch, which is just there. It was one of those cases where I was expecting to get something somewhat bigger. I thought it was going to be bigger than that, but it's quite nice. It's unobtrusive, and yeah, that looks quite nice on there. I think with the instruments on there, that might work. So we'll put it together a little bit, and then see about making holes in the actual mounting over there, and try and get that sorted at some point. And I am going to work on this side panel now. As you can see, I've got a hole cut, needs tidying up, and I need to put a plate in there. I should have made my the backing deeper really. As you can see, I'm only, again, trying to save weight. I'm always thinking about weight, and I could have done with making maybe that an inch thick, and I could have dropped a plate inside it. So we'll see. But that looks, yeah, they'll look nice when they're on. I'm quite pleased with that. I say this looks so nice, I'm almost considering leaving them wood rather than covering with the fabric. But decisions for another day. So there we are, cowl cheeks provisionally in place, side panels on. Looks nice, pleased with the results on that. The side panels were an absolute pain in the arse to get on, so I'm going to leave them on overnight in the hope that the P-clips settle in a little bit, and it might make it easier. The biggest problem is access, so once we're up and running, I really hope I don't have to take them off again. So they are a bit of a pain. What I'm going to do with these here cowl cheeks, currently clecoed in place, I'll put some anchor nuts behind them, so the side panels have got to come off again. Put some anchor nuts in there, and then I can just screw them in and out as required. These bits along the engine firewall there, those are going to get drilled. They're going to need anchor nuts inside all of those, but there's no point doing that until I've got the cowling sorted, so they will just stay as they are at the minute. Probably needs a bit of a bend on this one. Let me just move around. As you can see, it's lifted out there. This one I have put a bend in, so I'm going to have to put, I think, a couple of flutes in there maybe. We'll see. It's not such a problem. I've only put a tiny bend in. I'll come round here again. That's the other side. You can see I've got those carburetor intakes faked up. They're not real, they're not doing anything, they're just blocked up. Let me just show you in that. So they're just blocked there because I don't want the air coming through on my knees. Still contemplating a headrest. If I could make a decision, it'd be brilliant, but I'm contemplating a headrest because I do like the look of the headrests, but we'll see. That I can decide on that before I cover, so I'm not in any urgent rush. It's not going to weigh a lot. I was bothered about excess weight, but I've got quite a light engine going on, and if I'm going to need weight, it's going to need to be further back anyway, I guess. So I think maybe I'll put a headrest in there. We'll see. We'll see. And that's it for today. I think I've pretty much decided on the panel. It's going to go like that. Or you can see I've got a couple of switches. Got the engine start switch there. I ordered it on the internet, and I thought it was like 3 times the size of that. But it's sort of innocuous there. I quite like it. Look, it's a good quality one. So that was what I went for, the quality. So I'm thinking that that will be fine. I don't want it too obtrusive, so yeah, it's quite nice. So I'll leave these on overnight, come back tomorrow maybe, put some anchor nuts on these side panels, then possibly get them back on. Well, I did put an inspection hatch in that side panel, as you can see there. It's not exactly Japanese cabinet work, but it's quite a nice, neat fit. If I can get in tight there, you can see it's fairly reasonable. Showing off all my errors and lack of accuracy, but yeah, no, it works all right. That's a nice tight fit. It holds in by itself without the screws anyway, so it is a tight fit. But so I do like the wooden finish. The wooden finish is good. May even keep it yet. We'll see. And I think that's going to be about it for this video. Looking at, I am really pleased with those side panels. I think they look the biz. They look the biz. So it's just the engine mounting really is the big hold up, and of course I'm reliant on someone else doing that, so it's got to be at their time scale.